I know that all the people, all his little boys in the Discord, are going to be like, no, that's not going to happen. Legal Mindset's making stuff up. Well, you just watch. You just watch, kids. He's going to be dragged in there in front of the police. I dare him to pretend he didn't know what he was doing. You'll always be a loser, a nothing. And you're going to enjoy that loser life in jail. But here's what Johnny Somali's Discord followers don't understand, and what Johnny himself is desperately trying to hide from his audience. The walls are closing in faster than anyone realizes. While he's been putting on this show of confidence, streaming like nothing's happening, behind the scenes, the Korean authorities have been building something that will completely destroy his narrative of being untouchable. What I'm about to reveal in this video isn't speculation. It's not rumors. It's official documentation that proves Johnny Somali's worst nightmare is about to become reality. And the most shocking part? He knows it's coming. The evidence I'll show you proves he's been scrambling to control the narrative because he knows what's about to hit him. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Johnny Somali's arrogant facade is about to crumble completely. Guys, we've got a massive update about Johnny Somali and the current condition of his case, and it's more unbelievable than you think. The situation for Johnny Somali right now is worse than ever. Yes! No rumors this time. It's official! The police have already interviewed a new witness under the Child Welfare Act, and sources say Johnny Somali will also face police questioning and interviews, possibly next month. But here's what makes this development absolutely devastating for Johnny Somali's case, and why his Discord followers are desperately trying to downplay its significance. This isn't just any witness. According to Legal Mindset, this witness might be connected to an incident at Latte World or on the Seoul Metro or a bus, or it could even be a parent of a child who is now testifying against Johnny Somali. Think about what this means for a moment. A parent, someone whose child was directly affected by Johnny Somali's actions, has stepped forward to provide testimony. This isn't some random person looking for attention. This is someone with the most powerful motivation possible, protecting their child and seeking justice. When a parent comes forward in a case like this, it transforms everything. Here's the part that should terrify Johnny Somali and his supporters. If the judge accepts this testimony, it pretty much automatically will aggravate sentencing, meaning the maximum punishment category. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist anymore. We're talking about the full force of Korean law coming down on him. The legal implications are staggering. When the court and legal authorities see that a parent has directly come forward, the case becomes exponentially more dangerous for Johnny Somali. This time the legal authorities can easily push for a guilty plea. And if he doesn't plead guilty himself, which, knowing his arrogance, he probably won't, they can present strong evidence and now have a witness ready to testify. But here's what's really interesting about the timing of this development. While Johnny has been streaming, acting like nothing's wrong, telling his audience that Korean authorities are weak and can't touch him, behind the scenes, this parent has been working with police, providing detailed testimony about what their child experienced. The Child Welfare Act in Korea isn't something you mess around with. It's designed specifically to protect the most vulnerable members of society, and when someone violates it, especially a foreign national who's been openly mocking the country's legal system, the authorities take it extremely seriously. What makes this even more damaging for Johnny is that this witness came forward voluntarily. They weren't coerced. They weren't paid. They weren't seeking fame or attention. They simply wanted justice for what happened to their child. That kind of testimony carries enormous weight in court because it's driven by genuine harm and a parent's protective instinct. And here's the kicker, this is just the beginning. Legal Mindset has indicated that more witnesses may come forward as the case gains momentum. Johnny Somali's pattern of behavior has affected multiple people, and now that one brave parent has stepped up, others may find the courage to do the same. While this witness development is unfolding, There are even more updates that paint an increasingly dire picture for Johnny Somali. His Child Welfare Act case is moving fast, faster than anyone expected, and certainly faster than Johnny anticipated when he was bragging about Korean authorities being powerless against him. As Legal Mindset explained, the case against Ramzi Khaled Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, under the Child Welfare Act is progressing rapidly. The police have already interviewed the person who filed the report, and Ramzi Khaled is expected to be interviewed next month. But here's what makes this timeline so significant and so terrifying for Johnny. Korean police investigations typically move at a measured pace. They're thorough, methodical, and they don't rush unless there's a compelling reason. The fact that this case is moving rapidly indicates something crucial. They have strong evidence, and they're confident in their ability to secure a conviction. Listen to this part from Legal Mindset for more details. And they went through the evidence, and the police believe that the evidence which has been submitted after going through it carefully is very, very good. And they're going to proceed on this aggressively and strongly and quickly. They're not going to drag their feet on this. They're not going to make this take. They are going to go aggressive with the Child Welfare Act as it's been refiled. That's really good news to hear. Finally, the police are realizing that too much time has already passed, and this time they need to take it more seriously. But honestly, I think if the police had taken this more seriously earlier, some of the dangerous things Johnny Somali did wouldn't have happened at all. Here's what proceeding aggressively means in practical terms. The police aren't just going through the motions. They're not treating this as a minor disturbance case that they can handle with a warning or a small fine. They're building a comprehensive case with multiple pieces of evidence, witness testimony, and documented patterns of behavior. The phrase very, very good evidence should send chills down Johnny Somali's spine. This suggests they have clear, undeniable proof of his violations of the Child Welfare Act. We're talking about video evidence, witness statements, documented incidents, and possibly even digital evidence from his streams and social media. What makes this even more damaging is the context. Johnny Somali has been openly mocking Korean authorities, claiming they're powerless against him because he's an American citizen. He's been streaming his defiance, essentially creating more evidence against himself while thinking he's proving his invincibility. The irony is devastating. Every stream where he mocked the Korean legal system, every moment where he claimed to be untouchable, every instance where he dismissed the seriousness of his situation, all of that is now working against him. It demonstrates a complete lack of remorse, a pattern of continued defiance, and a fundamental disrespect for Korean law and society. When Johnny Somali is brought in for questioning next month, he's going to face investigators who have spent weeks or months building an airtight case against him. They'll have evidence he doesn't even know exists, witness testimony he can't refute, and a clear pattern of behavior that demonstrates his guilt. Now, you might ask, what kind of consequences is Johnny Somali actually facing? Well, most of you already know. I'll show you just a tiny piece of how dangerous he really is, because what he's done is basically an ocean of crimes. As you all know, at this point, if the police and legal authorities had acted sooner, Johnny would probably already be in prison by now. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing about Johnny Somali's response to these escalating legal threats. Instead of showing any remorse, instead of recognizing the gravity of his situation, he's doubling down on his delusions of invincibility. And his strategy reveals just how disconnected from reality he's become. Listen to his own words. If you guys want to know why I plead guilty, why I plead guilty 2 days ago or yesterday, it's because, bro, do you think I want to sit in this country any longer? Do you think I'm really going to sit there and argue with the judge over $100 fine? I'm guilty. So what? I'll pay it. I'm out. This statement reveals everything wrong with Johnny Somali's understanding of his situation. He's treating serious legal charges like parking tickets. He thinks he can just pay a fine and walk away from charges that could result in years of imprisonment. This isn't a traffic violation. This is a Child Welfare Act case with witness testimony and documented evidence. But here's the most disturbing part of his strategy. He's using his current freedom as proof that he's untouchable. Don't be shocked if just 2 days from now, you see Johnny Somali streaming again and saying this right to your face. Look at me. What punishment? I'm still free. I'm still streaming. This is exactly what he does every single time. Whether anything happens or not, Johnny Somali is still free. No doubt about that. And why does he act like this? That's his whole strategy, to confuse people like us and make it look like he's untouchable. It's psychological manipulation of his audience, designed to maintain his image of invincibility even as the walls close in around him. You already know what he thinks about South Korean authorities. He doesn't respect them at all. Listen to this revealing statement. So, I was like, I'm going to show you guys how far I can push the boundaries, and I'm going to show you that the Korean government is not going to do anything to me because I'm an American citizen. A and B, I don't do anything seriously violent or drug crime. The Korean legal system is not as strong as people think and perceive it to be. This statement is going to haunt him in court. He's literally admitting that his entire approach was to push the boundaries and test the Korean legal system. He's confessing to deliberately challenging Korean law while hiding behind his American citizenship. This isn't ignorance, this is calculated defiance. The most dangerous part of his delusion is his belief that being American somehow makes him immune to Korean law. That's not how international law works. When you're in Korea, you're subject to Korean law, regardless of your nationality. His American citizenship won't protect him from the consequences of violating the Child Welfare Act. At the same time, some of Johnny's fans, or whatever you want to call these people, are still out here saying nothing will happen to their boss. And you already know how they plan their stuff on Discord every single day and night. But this time, Legal Mindset has given a strong warning not only to Johnny Somali but also to his followers and fans. But what's happening in Johnny Somali's Discord server is far more sinister than most people realize. This isn't just a fan community supporting their favorite streamer. This is an organized effort to intimidate witnesses, spread disinformation, and potentially obstruct justice. The evidence that's emerged from Discord leaks reveals a coordinated campaign that could land his followers in serious legal trouble alongside him. Here's what Legal Mindset had to say about Johnny's Discord army. I know that all the people, all his little boys in the Discord, are going to be like, no, that's not going to happen. Legal Mindset's making stuff up. Well, you just watch. You just watch, kids. He's going to be dragged in there in front of the police, presented with evidence, presented with the case against him, and asked what he feels about it. But the warning goes deeper than just predicting Johnny's downfall. Legal Mindset continued, and I dare him to say he doesn't care. He doesn't know. I dare him to play ignorant. I dare him to pretend he didn't know what he was doing. I dare him to pretend he doesn't know how to turn TTS off. He doesn't know how to turn the speaker off. I dare him to do that. This is crucial because it addresses Johnny's likely defense strategy. He's going to claim ignorance. He's going to pretend he didn't know his text-to-speech donations were causing problems. He's going to act like he had no control over what his audience was doing. But the evidence shows otherwise. The Discord leaks reveal something even more disturbing. There's clear evidence that they're even threatening the victim and putting people's lives at risk in Discord. This isn't just trolling or edgy humor. These are actual threats against real people who have been harmed by Johnny Somali's actions. When Discord users start threatening victims and witnesses in an active legal case, they're crossing the line from online harassment into criminal conspiracy. They're potentially committing obstruction of justice, witness intimidation, and making terroristic threats. Korean authorities could pursue charges against Discord members who are participating in these activities. What makes this even more dangerous for Johnny is that he's the central figure orchestrating this community. Even if he's not directly making threats, he's created and maintained a platform where threats against his victims are encouraged and celebrated. In legal terms, this could make him liable for the actions of his followers. The irony is that Johnny's Discord supporters think they're helping him by attacking his critics and victims. In reality, they're creating more evidence against him. Every threat, every attempt at intimidation, every coordinated harassment campaign is being documented and could be used to demonstrate the broader pattern of harm that Johnny Somali has created. This isn't just about one streamer anymore. It's about an entire network of people who have been radicalized into believing that harassing innocent people is acceptable entertainment. Not only legal mindset, we're all waiting to see just how far Johnny Somali can go. I know he's already crossed every limit imaginable, but everything has an end. I just want to see where the end of Johnny Somali actually is. This type of coward doesn't understand that even the brightest sun eventually loses its light, and he's just a criminal coward who's sunk to the deepest level of a demon. But here's what makes this moment in Johnny Somali's story so significant, and why it represents a turning point not just for him, but for the entire nuisance streaming community. We're witnessing what could be the first time a country successfully holds one of these chaos streamers fully accountable for their actions. Listen to Legal Mindset's final assessment. You are in a world of hurt. The case that the SCT has gotten wind and gotten into here and been put together against you is so strong. And you asked for it, buddy. You asked for it by continuing behavior, by targeting women and children, by picking on those that you perceive as weaker than you because you're a small, fragile little man who will never be anything. You'll always be a loser, a nothing. And you're going to enjoy that loser life in jail. This isn't just legal analysis, this is a prediction of complete destruction. When Legal Mindset says the case is so strong, he's not exaggerating. We're talking about documented evidence, witness testimony, video proof, and a pattern of behavior that spans months of deliberate lawbreaking. The phrase "you asked for it" is particularly important because it highlights Johnny's role in creating his own downfall. Every stream where he mocked Korean authorities, every moment where he claimed to be untouchable, every instance where he escalated his behavior, all of that was him asking for the maximum possible punishment. Here's what's really at stake, and after you're out of jail, you're going to be a loser after that. And you're going to be dragged in there and questioned right around the time of your trial. This suggests that Johnny's punishment won't end with jail time. His reputation, his streaming career, his ability to travel internationally, all of that could be permanently destroyed. We want to see it. We're desperate to see Johnny Somali lose everything during his trial. This time he should be taken into custody because he's still causing trouble and planning more chaos behind the scenes. The evidence shows he hasn't learned anything from his current legal troubles. He's still orchestrating harassment campaigns, still encouraging his followers to threaten victims, still treating the entire situation like a joke. So, I really think if it actually happens, if Johnny Somali finally gets locked up, that will be the strongest comeback and the real show of power from the South Korean authorities. But I'll say that only after they actually take action, not before. And remember, Johnny himself once bragged that South Korea is locked with him, not that he's locked up in South Korea. I'm not locked in Korea. These Koreans are locked in here with me. That alone shows how big his ego really is. But here's the beautiful irony that Johnny Somali completely missed when he made that arrogant statement. Definitely, Johnny. Now, it's not just that Korea is locked with you, but Korea will lock you in their custody, too. The very country he claimed was locked in with him is about to demonstrate exactly who has the real power in this situation. His twisted reference to the famous line from Watchmen, "I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me," is about to backfire spectacularly. I just want to say this. If Korea actually does it, it will be real-time history. A country finally taking down a nuisance streamer like Johnny Somali. And trust me, once this happens, the whole streamer community will be on alert, knowing they can't get away with chaos and disgusting content like Somali or other nuisance streamers. Think about the broader implications of what we're witnessing. For years, these chaos streamers have operated under the assumption that they're essentially untouchable. They've bounced from country to country, causing mayhem, harassing locals, disrespecting cultures, and then moving on before facing any real consequences. Johnny Somali represents the absolute worst of this trend, someone who has turned cultural disrespect and harassment into a profitable entertainment model. But if South Korea successfully prosecutes him to the full extent of the law, it sends a message that reverberates throughout the entire streaming ecosystem. It tells other would-be chaos streamers that there are countries willing and able to hold them accountable. It demonstrates that hiding behind "it's just content" or "I'm just entertaining my audience" won't protect you from the legal consequences of your actions. The ripple effects would be enormous. Other countries would see Korea's approach and potentially adopt similar strategies for dealing with nuisance streamers. Tourism boards, immigration authorities, and local law enforcement agencies worldwide would have a playbook for handling these situations before they spiral out of control. But here's what concerns me, and why I can't celebrate prematurely. If there's more delay or more suspense, Johnny will definitely try something to escape again. His pattern has always been to push boundaries until the heat gets too intense, then find a way to slip away to the next location. He's done it before, and he'll try to do it again if given the opportunity. That's why I can't give any credit to the South Korean authorities until they actually punish Johnny Somali officially. Words are meaningless at this point. Press releases don't matter. Even arrest warrants don't matter if they're not enforced. What matters is seeing Johnny Somali in handcuffs, facing a judge, and receiving a sentence that reflects the severity of his crimes. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about one obnoxious streamer getting his comeuppance. This is about whether civilized societies can protect themselves from individuals who profit from chaos and harassment. This is about whether there are still consequences for actions in our interconnected, digital world. So, what do you think? Will South Korea really be able to punish Somali this time? Or will he just escape again next month? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. But before you answer that question, consider this: we're not just passive observers in this story. Every view, every comment, every share of videos documenting Johnny Somali's behavior contributes to the public record of his actions. The more attention his case receives, the more pressure there is on authorities to follow through with meaningful consequences. If you believe that action should have consequences, if you think that people shouldn't be able to profit from harassing innocent victims, then this case matters to you. The outcome will determine whether other chaos streamers continue to see harassment as a viable career path or whether they finally understand that some lines cannot be crossed. Stay tuned for updates on this developing story. Subscribe if you want to be notified the moment Johnny Somali faces real consequences for his actions. And remember, justice delayed isn't always justice denied, but it's a lot more satisfying when it finally arrives. The countdown to Johnny Somali's reckoning has begun. The only question is whether South Korea will deliver the justice that victims and viewers worldwide are waiting to see.